Welcome to VI Hippie Chick Online Unit Studies. This is Canadian Politics for Kids. And we're talking about the speaker election strategies that are playing out. And I know I said I would talk about BC and Alberta NDP showdown and why they can't just get along. But there are some clear indications as to what is going to happen. And it's really important that you understand, and this possibly could entice you all the more to live stream this. And if you can't live stream it because you're busy, you definitely want to go back and watch this, or make sure you catch the news, because I'm sure it will be on the news. The day to watch is June 22nd. That is when Christy Clark has called everybody back to the legislature. Okay, so let's recap what we know. We know that the Liberals have 43 seats. We know that the NDP and Green together have 44 seats. We do know that the Liberals are not putting a name forward for speaker election. We know that it's highly unlikely the Greens will. I don't think there's anyone in BC that really expects them to. I mean, they're a caucus of 3 people, 2 of which are brand new MLAs that, I don't know, I can't find a reasonable person who thinks that the Greens should cough up an MLA for speaker. So that leaves it up to the NDP. Are they going to put a name forward? Are they not? I think they are. Seems to be the rumor. Now here's the thing. If they don't, triggers an election. They don't seem to want that. It's unclear for sure, as the NDP are definitely looking for donations for election funds or for campaign funds, but they are saying that they don't actually want an election, which would indicate that they do in fact intend to put a speaker forward. So if that happens, that means the whole NDP and Green count goes from 44 to 43. So that's 43 seats on either side. But that would mean that in the no confidence vote that Christy Clark has asked for, we're going to have a tie. Well, what happens in the event of a tie? Well, the speaker votes. Well, how is the speaker votes? Well, convention or tradition, for ease of understanding, tells us that the speaker votes with the current government. That's just how it's always been done in the Westminster parliamentary system that we follow in Canada, that comes from Britain. So that's a long history to follow. So if that happens, then Christy Clark wins, and now it's clear as to why Christy Clark would not put a name forward. But then there's also this rumor going forward that NDP plan to break with convention and have the speaker vote with the party and therefore bring down the current government in order for John Horgan to then become premier. So the options here are really, in a perfect world, Christy Clark putting forward a name and then NDP putting forward a name and they have a fair vote, and or nobody puts a name forward and we have an election. So which scenario should we go with? Should Christy Clark be allowed to not put a name forward? Should NDP be allowed to break with convention and have the speaker vote with the party? Or should we just have another election? Which would you prefer? Leave a comment down below with what you think. I'm going to add a few Maclean's articles in the notes for you to read to give you a little bit more information on the arguments on a couple of the scenarios, and make sure you find some information to back up your opinion, because when you enter a debate, you always want to make sure you can back up your argument. So remember, this is VI Hippie Chick Online Unit Studies, Canadian Politics for Kids, and next time I will discuss why Alberta and BC NDP just can't get along.